Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest in studio, 3-time NBA All-Star, 2-time first team?
I wish.
How many time first
hype
team?
me up though, please.
3-time All-Star. He's been in one of the all NBA teams at least twice. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one. It is Julius Randle from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Does that sound weird saying it? Because it's still new, right?
It's still very new.
Yeah. So let's start with that. How's the first month and a half that you've been on the Timberwolves and like feeling everything out and yeah, I mean it's got to be weird.
Yeah, it's definitely new. Especially when you've been somewhere for 5 years. I was like at a mall with my wife, and a lady comes up to me and she's like, "You must play basketball. Who you play for?" And I'm like, "I'm Timberwolves."
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like one of those situations, but it's been great, man. I'm loving it. To be honest,
yeah. And I mean, you got traded like late, like right before the season. Is that especially weird not having a like training camp and everything with your new team? And you're just like, all right, now I'm on this team.
Yeah, man, because it's like at that point you think like if anything happens, it'll be during the year, right before the trade deadline. So, for it to happen like 2 days before whatever training camp was kind of crazy because, it was more – the basketball part is easy, but like adjusting and moving a family, like my son had just started school. He was in school for a little bit. So, like that was probably like the hardest part, just getting adjusted. But, it's cool now. We good.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get used to the business of the NBA and understand that sometimes things happen to you not because it's like them – maybe you still feel like upset if you get traded. You're like, man, I don't feel like they really appreciate me if they're willing to trade me away. But I feel like a lot of players that have been in your position at some point you kind of figure out that it's not personal.
Yeah. I got used to it, pretty quickly. I think maybe my first wake-up call was with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And, LeBron was coming to town. They was like, well, LeBron's coming, so,
yeah.
you gotta figure it out, and that's how I ended up in New Orleans for a year. But, that was probably like my first time, and then from then on it's just been like the business is what it is, and you kind of gotta roll with it and adjust.
I think you were also unlucky your first time because they had to like renounce you. They had to use the word renounce. Nobody likes to be renounced.
Yeah,
that's a fucked up way to put it.
Yeah, to be honest though, like I asked for that.
yeah
because
please renounce me.
Yeah, because I was it was a situation where I was young in my career, and I was coming off a pretty decent year with the Lakers, and I just kind of wanted to continue to grow. Mm-hmm. So, the Buss family, I had a great relationship with them, and, they helped me get to, a good situation with that.
Yeah, I think in Minnesota it's also a compliment. Like, they wanted you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially, in these situations, I'm pretty secure in who I am as a player, at this point in my career. And, the shock, obviously, it was a shock at first, just with everything. But from, like, day one, like, the moment that I got traded, I already knew Finchie because I had played for him in New Orleans. So from a basketball standpoint, like, when it happened, I'm like, well, I really want to play for Finchie. Like, I'm excited about that, you know what I mean? But, like, the organization, like Tim, Matt, and Dell, like A-Rod, like, all those guys, like, called me and were just telling me how excited they were for me to be there, how much they wanted me, how long they were working on a trade, all those different type of things. And, after I got over the initial shock, it was like, all right, man, I'm somewhere where I'm wanted.
Yeah.
Appreciated and valued. So, like, it just took a little bit to, like, change my perspective and look at it differently. But once I was able to do that, like, felt extremely comfortable just being there.
Was there part of you like, oh, I get out of Tibbs practices now? I mean, there has to have been. And I'm a Tibbs guy, but funny? Everyone says the practices are brutal.
Yeah, what's funny, man? Like, we have these conversations like all the time, like in the locker room, and I'm like, Ant, man, what kind of practice is gonna be today? And he like, man, we just might watch film and da-da-da-da. I'm like, word? Okay, bet. Like, I get excited, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get a little pep in my step, so you know what I mean? you're somewhere for such a long time, and like I appreciate Tibbs. Like,
yeah,
it's like Tibbs is like a coach that's gonna have you every game super prepared. Like you're not gonna miss a beat on anything that's gonna go on. But also, here like it's different. Like Fitch has us prepared, but we're also like empowered. As players to, be adults. To be professional. And come in every day, do our job, and he trusts us with that responsibility. So like it's very empowering as a player.
And it feels like everyone who has played for Tibbs, like they'll be like, yeah, the practices are brutal. He grinds you hard, but he also brings the most out of you because you had your best year. Whatever it was, probably his second year, I think, in New York. Like that's and like we've had Joakim Noah on here. He's like, yeah, Tibbs was a real motherfucker, but like. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't have gotten the best out of my ability.
Yeah, I mean, like at that point in my career, like Tibbs was the perfect coach for me. He got the most out of me. He pushed me. He gave me ample opportunity, to grow as a player. So like I appreciate him, for what he was and what he meant to my career during that time.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about going back to school and like getting a master's degree from Villanova so that you could fit in?
Hell no.
You fit in with all the guys?
Absolutely not. I think I chose the right Wildcat.
Yeah. So what did Dante say to Tibbs?
I'll leave that to Tay.
Okay.
I'll let Tay.
We'll have to have him on just to tell us what he said.
Yeah, we'll see. But
that was fun for a preseason game.
It was a lot of energy. It was a lot of energy. It was a lot going on that night.
Yeah,
I'll say that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So your time in Kentucky, Cal. Like that was when Kentucky was rolling. You guys go to the championship game. I went to Wisconsin, so I was actually sitting
played you guys.
I was sitting like maybe 20 feet from what was it? One of the Harrisons hit that three.
Yep.
That destroyed me. Was there ever a moment during that game you're like, we can't lose to these white guys? I feel like that happens.
What's crazy is like that was like once we got through Wisconsin, I was like, oh, we got it.
Yeah, you didn't.
Like because like exactly because I'm like, man, like. Wisconsin was our hardest game of the tournament by far. Like, I'm like, bro, these dudes used 35 seconds of every single shot clock.
Yep.
Like, super disciplined. Like, they're not going to beat themselves. Like, so it was like one of those games. And, like, it was like one of those games, too. Like, the whole time, it was like we never felt like we had any momentum.
Yeah.
Until, obviously, Aaron hit that shot. And then, like, once we did that, we're like, man, like, we got this. Like, UConn, like we thinking like no disrespect to them, but we're like, man, this is ours. And like you said, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. So what? I mean, what kind of coach was Cal? Because I feel like he gets not a bad rap, but he obviously like there's a lot of times, especially his end of Kentucky, where it's like they weren't winning as much in the tournament, and he was talking about his draft picks, and everyone's making jokes. But like he seems like a guy who every player loves.
Yeah, it's funny because it doesn't matter like who. Like, I remember when I first got to Kentucky and DeMarcus and, like, AD and those guys, they had came back and they were like, man, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, I should have been a number one pick. Like, just messing with him. I should have been a number one pick. Cal held me back, man. Like, da-da-da-da, right? And, like, we always give him a hard time. And it doesn't matter if it's him or, like, I'm talking to Rob, who was just there last year. And we're like, man, we hated Cal when we were at Kentucky. Like, coached us hard. Like, he's a tough coach. Like, he's going to be on your ass. Like, and he's like one of those type of dudes. And then, like, everybody has the same story. Like, when you leave, you love Cal.
Yeah.
Like, everybody loves Cal. And, like, man, Cal just forget, like, the coaching, just, like, as a human being and, like, who he is to his core. Like, he's done things for me and my family after I've left Kentucky that, like, will be good with me forever.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do anything for Cal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, after I got traded, he was one of the first people that called me just to check in on me and see how I'm feeling. Like, so he's that type of person that really cares about the person. You know what I mean? So,
it also is cool. I feel like Kentucky is one of those schools because they don't have an NBA team in Kentucky. Like, all Kentucky fans root for Kentucky players for the rest of their career, like in the NBA. Like, they're all – do you notice that? Will you go and, like, see, Kentucky fans at random arenas, like, cheering you on?
Yeah, absolutely. It was I just saw a Kentucky fan somewhere in Randall.
Yeah.
Like maybe in Minnesota. I don't know where I saw him, but like I'll see him like on vacation. Like if I'm on vacation somewhere, and they're like, man, we Big Blue Nation. Like they'll say that, like Big Blue Nation or whatever it is, and I'm like. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, you're really tied in forever when it comes to Kentucky.
Yeah.
What was the sales pitch like to get you to go there? Was Cal like, I will make you rich beyond your life?
Yeah.
No. and then you'll get drafted to the NBA and make more money.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. No, I mean, to be honest, it was two things. It was like, I want to win, you know, because for me, the national championship was in Dallas. It was in my hometown. So it was that. And then it was like, you're going to be out of here in 8 months.
Right, yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to keep you here, like, type thing. So, like, it was those two things. And then, like, just visiting. I'm a basketball guy, like, you know, to my core and my heart. And, like, visiting. Like, it was probably only one other place that I really visited. And I was like, man, this place is, like, crazy, which was Kansas. Like, what was it? What's the arena?
Fog Allen.
Fog Allen. Yeah, like, whatever it is, like, that – the arena was crazy. Mm-hmm. And, like, Kentucky, I was like, man, I get to play in front of 20,000 every single night. Like, there's nothing better than that.
So, obviously, going to Kentucky, you're like a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. What was the point growing up that you're like, oh, shit, I'm different than everyone else? Like, I'm so much better than everyone else.
Like 11 years old.
That's awesome. Were you, like, just dominating everyone at 11?
Yeah, I think. Like,
what was your stat lines at 11?
I mean, it was my mom, to be honest, because my mom, she, like, for every, like, growing up, I was always bigger than everybody. And she always made me play, like, a grade up, 2 grades up, 3 grades up. So, like, I'm playing against older kids, and I'm like, I'm okay, but I'm not, like, that good. And then I played my first grade. First time I played, my grade was like 10, 11 years old. And I was like, what the hell?
It's on easy mode.
I was like, man, this is like the easiest thing ever. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was bigger, faster, stronger than everybody, but I was just more skilled because I was playing up and advanced. So it was like, that was like an aha moment. I just kind of never looked back from there.
What was your best high school game? Do you remember, like, one that you, like, put in an insane amount of points? I just love thinking about, like, because anyone who's obviously in the NBA, they've just been so much better than everyone for such a long time. It's got to be the best feeling.
I mean, my high school, like, we were one of the best teams, like, in the country. Like, during my time there, I had like 50 in like 3 quarters or something like that.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Was it fun?
I'm like 20 shots.
Yeah,
it's got to be the most fun. Yeah,
it was a lot. Always, the high school was probably like the most fun ever, like, for basketball.
Dominating everyone.
Yeah.
I read a story that when you were playing AAU, I don't know if you were 11 or 12, but your team was so good that you guys flew private.
I don't know if it was because we were so good, but. Yeah, we did. That was the first time I played my grade, though.
Yeah.
So it was like a funny, basically how the story was is like I played up until this team called the Texas Titans started. The guy, shout out to the Trout family, amazing family that took care of a lot of people. But the dad, he was starting a team for his son. Dad was a billionaire, starting a team for his son, and basically his son was my age. He had 2 sons. He had one my age and one like maybe 2 years younger than me or whatever. And he was basically starting a team for his son, and, you know, people who played on the team, we were flying like the Mavericks plane.
That's
like
incredible.
Growing up as kids, you know. But the bigger thing was like in AAU, like, you know, you had to pay for everything and you're out of pocket for everything. Yeah. So, like, my mom being a single parent, like, I used to watch her struggle to, like, take me to tournaments across the country and drive and all that different type of stuff. And he took care of everything. So, like, he took care, like, obviously we were flying private, but, like, hotels, like, parents, everything was there. So it was just, like, I'm dominating my age group and I'm flying everywhere. And, you know what I mean? Like, it was the craziest experience of my life.
That does sound like the best.
Yeah, and then you go to high school, which was high school. That was a different team from the AAU team, right?
Yeah.
So you have to play for your high school team. You don't fly anywhere.
Yeah, we flew, but we flew American Airlines.
Yeah, Spirit.
We were, Spirit, and actually it might have been Southwest, but yeah, it was a different kind of travel for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that your travel was taken care of, it allowed a lot of people to play against competition that they wouldn't get to play against otherwise, right?
It was crazy, man. Like it was like I couldn't, like, I don't even really know how to explain it, but like as a kid, like it was insane. Like it was like the most fun time of my life.
Yeah.
Like all you look forward to is like, all right, even like when the summer would end, like AAU season would be over with and school would start, and like, you know, basketball season probably wouldn't start again until November or December. Like that's all you look forward to, because like I'm playing with my best friends. We're traveling across the country like rock stars, like everywhere, you know what I mean? Playing against the best teams, killing, like, you know, winning tournaments all over the country, like exposure, all this different type of stuff, visiting different cities as a kid. Like it was insane. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it was just like my experience growing up, you know, compared to what I was used to, like, and then to get that experience, like, man, it was like, you know, exposure is everything.
Yeah.
Opportunity is everything. And for me to be able to like see that at such a young age, that's why like I bring my son, my oldest son, like I've always brought him with me like everywhere to like games and stuff, because it's like the exposure just to be able to see like what's possible was like huge for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like to see that at a young age, it was like, even like then, like we used to go to, he had like floor seats at the Mavericks games. And like he used to bring us to the Mavericks games, and we were like kids sitting courtside at Mavericks games, and like Kobe was my favorite player.
Yeah.
So like I got to see Kobe at a young age, like, and just to see that, like it was like seeing Jesus, like you know what I mean? So it was crazy, you know, and I think that had a lot to do, you know, with my growth and you know, where I am today.
Visualizing it, yeah. That's huge. So you mentioned Kobe. You get drafted by the Lakers. Kobe's at the end of his career. Is he still psycho Kobe in terms of his workouts and everything? Is there a story? Like we've heard them all, but what was the one where you're like, oh man, this guy is different?
I would just say like me going to his like he would work out obviously crazy early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, 6 o'clock. And just like, I probably told this story before, but just like I've never been to a workout where I go first off at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and we do defense for 2 hours.
So you don't even dribble a basketball?
We would have days where we would not dribble a basketball.
Oh my God, that's like Hoosiers,
for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, like, and he was so technical, like no, you can't slide that way. Like you can't move your feet. Like, but literally, you think I'm exaggerating. We would do defense early in the morning for like 2 hours, and I'm just like, this dude's insane.
Yeah,
he's insane. Like it was just his mentality. It was just different. Like,
yeah, and that's crazy to consider. Like that's the end of, you know, his career.
That was the end.
Like when he's in his 30s. Yeah,
like, what he was like at 20, 25.
Yeah,
early 30, like.
What was he? Every practice, was it just full on like this is the most important game?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he was like, because he was at the end.
Yeah.
At that point, like his body, and like he was injured a lot during that time, so his body wasn't holding up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, it got to the point like if we saw Kobe at practice, we're like, oh my gosh, like Kobe's here.
Yeah.
Like, type thing. That's why you saw that whole viral clip of him going like in on like Jeremy Lin and Nick Young when they were fighting, the whole practice clip where they were fighting.
Yeah.
It was because like people were joking. They were like, man, Kobe's here. Like we can't like believe it, like sarcastic. And he just kicked everybody's ass.
Did he make you play him one-on-one?
Yes.
Did you ever beat him?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. But that was like the thing too. It was like when I played him like one-on-one, and like I loved that. Like I wanted to compete. Like, so like as a young player, I'm a rookie. I'm getting there early. And, you know, I'm thinking I'm, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do as a young player, getting there early. And he was already there, like working out, full sweat. So, like, I'm walking onto the court, and he's like, Jude, come play one-on-one. And, yeah, like, I thought I was going to get him. Like, in my mind, I'm like, And then he flipped the switch, and it was curtains.
Crafty, yeah.
That must have been a crazy experience though, going from like watching him courtside when you were a little kid.
It was insane.
Now, are you able to go hard? Are you able to like play as hard as you want to against a guy that you've looked up to for that long?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like it's like one of those moments, like, you know, you meet your idol. Not only do you meet your idol, but you're playing on the same team as your idol. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it took a while to process, you know what I mean? Because it's like you watching every single thing he does.
Yeah. This might be a dumb question, but I'm curious, whenever I talk to an NBA player, to know how you come up with new moves for yourself. Like how you put wrinkles in your game. Is it something where you spend most of your time or if you're watching like somebody else, you pick up things here and there, or do you have to get in like a creative mindset to figure something out?
I think it's like maybe two things. I think like one is like you have like a game that you do, like, or like whatever your go-to is or what you feel comfortable doing, and you just kind of build up off of that. And then like so like you might add, like I always got that from Kobe, like you don't have to add like 10 things to your game. Add 1 or 2 things. You know what I mean? If it's you know, you got to step back, add a pump fake step through to it or whatever it is. So like you have that, and then like it's like little crafty things too. Like 1 year I added, like they took it out the game, but I used to have like the off arm sweep through that I had, or like now you have to have 2 hands on it. You know what I mean? So like little crafty things where you learn how to like draw fouls, or you know learn how to just kind of like manipulate the defense and stuff like that. So like it's one you add to like the base of what you already do, and then other is just like little crafty things that I might see a player do and like, man, I like that. Let me try that out.
Yeah.
You know?
When did you know that you were awesome at spin moves? Because that's like when I think of Julius Randle, it's like the spin move, you know?
When was that? I don't know. I feel like it's always been like,
it's just natural. Yeah.
Natural. Yeah. I
that's
think it's
the move.
Always been a part of me. Yeah.
Do you? So I looked up on Pro Basketball Reference. They have all your nicknames. Mm-hmm. I want to know how many of these actually people have ever called you. They have Big Jew, King Julius, Don Julio.
Don Julio.
Okay, I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if it was Don Julio because it's Julius. Orange Julius. Never.
People have called me that, but that's not like a real.
Okay.
Name. Yeah.
And then Beyblade.
Beyblade. Yeah, I think that was like.
That's because of the spinning. Yeah. That's an awesome nickname. I had to look up what Beyblades were.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a Japanese animation.
Fidget spinner, yeah.
And they spin around.
That's a great name.
Yeah. That's an awesome nickname.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
if I
just
heard
keep
somebody
spinning.
yelling "Big Jew" at you, I would just be like, I don't know if I.
Yeah, that one's a little.
I actually I got Big Jew. That was a nickname I got when I first got to Minnesota too.
Okay. Yeah. Who gave you that?
Free.
Okay. Yeah. How is it like? You obviously saw Anthony Edwards last year in the playoffs and everything. When you get to like play with him, he does feel like a guy who just makes everyone better, and like the confidence that he has. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah,
he's very different. Like obviously, like confidence wise, he got the ultimate belief in himself.
Yeah,
like he thinks he can do anything out there. He really like it looks like he can.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. So he got the ultimate like confidence and belief in himself, and that's like contagious.
Yeah, I saw like what was it the other night? He scored like 27 in the first. Was that him? Yeah. In like the first like quarter or like a little bit more.
He's like he goes unconscious out there.
Yeah, when that happens, you just like I'm getting out of the way. Like just get him the ball.
It's find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah,
like it's like one of those type of things. Like when a guy like that gets on a roll, like first off, like going into a game, you want to try to bring that out of him, you know, as much as you can. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, how can I get him easy looks to really get him going?
Yeah.
And then, like, once he's going like that, man, it's like just keep feeding the high hand because he draws so much attention. It just makes the game easy for everybody.
Yeah.
I would get caught watching his dunks if I was on his team.
Yeah, for sure.
I forget to get back.
That thing. He ain't trying to dunk right now. He's shooting that thing right now.
Yeah. He's so much fun to watch. And yeah,
he's a lot of fun.
When he gets locked in, it's like, can't do it.
And I've never seen, like, from an athlete, like, perspective, it's different playing against him because you only play against him, like, for me, it's like once or twice a year. You know what I mean? But now it's like I see it every night, and I've never seen an athlete like that.
Yeah.
Be able to like move the way he does, cover ground, like get downhill, to be able to cut and just maneuver. And he's not like a little guy. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like for him to move at his size the way he does, it's special. And he covers a lot of ground.
Yes.
We have, what, 3 or 4 more years of him, and then he's going to the NFL, right?
Yeah, he's going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
Yes.
Oh,
What's that like? What's it like being a Cowboys fan?
It's bad.
Because we talk about Cowboys fans.
We talk about Cowboys. What do you say about Cowboys?
Well, we
fans?
talk so much shit. Well, actually, no. We had
Skip Bayless on.
We had Skip Bayless on, and we also had Dak ranked as the 17th best quarterback in the NFL this year.
Accurate.
No, we definitely. I mean, it's fun to shit on the Cowboys. That they're kind of that brand. You know what I mean? It's like the Yankees, it's the Cowboys, the Lakers. Like
the
that's
Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks. So I mean, are you ever going to win again? Because you're not old enough to remember the Super Bowls.
You know what's crazy? Like I used to go to Dion's house as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I played basketball, and I was on the same basketball team as his son.
No
Basketball
way.
has put me in crazy.
That's
circles,
nuts.
Yeah.
We're big Dion fans. He used to work here, so
Yeah, I used to go to his house all the time. Like,
that's crazy.
Bucky, I don't know if Bucky Dion, the junior. but
Yeah.
I used to. So like, yeah, you're right. I'm not old enough, but like my mom, she gives me hell about it because she's like, "So what y'all gonna do this year?"
Wait, well, who's she a fan of?
She's not a fan of anybody.
Oh, she just
likes
trolls
me.
you.
Yeah, she
I love
likes
that.
trolling
I
me.
love that. I'm a fan of your mom. Yeah.
So she used to say that all the time. I'm like, we winning it all this year.
What happened?
And then it would happen. Like what would happen is the Cowboys would be the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? So like she would troll me all the time, and now it's to the point where I'm at of age where I'm like, okay, this is what it's like to be a Cowboys fan. But now I've made my son a Cowboys fan.
Oh,
You're passing on.
Yes, and he lives and dies by every game.
Oh, no.
That's cruelty.
And then,
It's cruelty.
It is. And then my wife was recording the other day because we were watching, I don't know who they were playing. And he was like, man, we suck. I was like, yep, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 kids, and they're Bears fans, and I had to teach them what tanking was last year. And that's a real humbling thing to explain to your kid, that like losing is actually winning.
Yeah.
And they like repeated it back to me. I was like, well, only when we're talking about the Bears, not like in life.
That's
like,
complicated.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's good that we lost. It's like, I shouldn't teach this lesson.
Did you ever feel like, as a Cowboys fan, you should go to Duke instead of Kentucky?
Never.
No.
Did you get
could've been
recruited by
Cowboys, Duke, and Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did get recruited by Duke.
So what? You were like, Coach K, not for me. Good man.
I'm not admitting that, but
No, say it. I hate Coach K. So go ahead.
No, I love Duke. I love Coach K.
Nah.
But it was just like I wanted to play for Cal.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go to Kentucky. I wanted to play for Cal. You know what I mean? So it was like, and Kentucky was like the cool thing. You know what I mean? Like I grew up like, I think my freshman year, that's when I knew I wanted to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Seeing John Wall and all those guys and stuff like that, it was nothing like it. But like being around like Coach K and just like he was coaching an Olympic team and stuff like that. So it was like, it just Duke, I didn't feel like I fit like Duke culture.
Yeah.
Were you about to say, like,
Yeah.
I went to Kentucky, big state school, a lot of people there, great student fan base, and then I went to Duke, smaller school.
I visited.
Not
and I was
a
just
lot
like,
of not a lot of cool people to be around.
Yeah.
From the opposite sex there.
it was. Yeah, I met my wife at Kentucky. So
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. So you're a
Good
smart
choice.
move. Wait,
Exactly.
so when did you start getting recruited by like these big schools? At what age?
Like my freshman year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's got to be kind of like a mind fuck to be like you're 14 years old and you've got major D1 programs hitting you up.
Yeah, I mean, I really, truthfully, always wanted to go to Texas. Like growing up in Dallas.
Yeah.
'Cause, like I grew up a Texas football fan, Texas basketball, seeing KD. They just like were on like the down
Yeah.
side. Like as I was getting older. But like I played with a guy. Zach Peters, who was an amazing player, and he was going to Kansas. So, like, we already had, like, a bunch of coaches coming in and watching. And, like, they saw me, and from there it kind of just took off.
Oh, so they would come see him, and they'd be like, "Wait, who's that freshman?"
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I know that you when you were recovering from an injury a little bit ago, you spent so much time off your feet that you actually got better at basketball because you were studying. It made you study.
Yeah.
You got all that screen time in because you couldn't walk around. Because I did read that you were forced to work on the mental aspect of the game more because you couldn't do the physical stuff.
Yeah.
So what did you improve just by not having to be practicing all the time?
I mean, that's like been the great part of like what's been unfortunate the past 2 or so years, like getting hurt at the end of 2 years ago, and then last year, dislocating my shoulder, which last year I was more prepared for it than I was the year before. But like sometimes you just got to slow down, man, like to catch up, to improve. You know what I mean? So you get so caught in, the cycle of, for me, it's like season ends, I train, I don't take much time off to reflect, to really, break things down. And for me, it was like, once I had like my ankle surgery, it was like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, well, how am I going to improve? You know what I mean? Because that's always been my biggest thing is like, I take pride in getting better every offseason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, well, I got to figure out a way to get better, without physically being able to go and work out. And for me, it was like, I've always, for like the past like 5 years, really worked on the mental side of things. So it was like I took that up a different level, and then like just studying the game, you know what I mean? Just, it's like the Kobe, how aspect of what he's passed down to me, of just how detailed he was, just how obsessive he was on like improvement. It was like, all right, well, this is taken from me. Well, how can I, work away around that? And, for me, that was basically what it was, you know what I mean? So I just broke the game down, study players that I like, and, figure out how I can add to my game and get better.
Was it frustrating the playoffs 2 years ago when you were playing like very banged up and you had a ton of injuries and you struggled at times? Like, was it frustrating having the fans be like, "Oh, why isn't he playing better?" It's like, dude, I have so many injuries right now and I'm out here battling. Because that would drive me nuts. Where I would just complain about my injuries so much that everyone would be like, "All right, stop complaining about the injuries."
Yeah,
Credit to you for not doing that.
For me, it's like one of those things. It's like if you out there, figure it out.
Yeah,
like type thing. So it's like it was more frustrating at the end of it, where it was like, well, shit, like that sucked. Like we didn't win, and I'm like banged up. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, but like I think for me, it just built character.
Yeah,
like more than anything. And it was just like one of those situations where it's like, man, these things happen, but just learn, grow from it, come back, get better, like type thing. There's no point in me feeling sorry for myself. Like nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? So it was just like, get better, give yourself some grace.
How many? What injuries did you have then?
I had like a bad ankle injury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it was like your lift on your shot. Like I was
going into games where I couldn't, like, I would be warming up like before the game, and I'm just like, bro, I can't even move.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, type thing. And that's a long story, but like ended up like right after the season, they're like, man, you need to get surgery. Yeah, like type thing. So it was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah, but it was clear, and you were battling through it, which you should get more credit for.
Yeah, I mean.
And we're not Knicks fans, so we'll give you credit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different beast when you're in New York.
Yeah,
like,
they
don't care.
It is like big time.
If I tried to do this podcast and I had like a severe concussion during the podcast, that's all I would talk about.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, listen, none of the shit that I'm saying right now should count against me because I am banged up.
Yeah.
And I would just milk that. But I guess it's, different mentality if you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, it's different. And it's just like, for me, I think it's like the Kobe spirit in me as well.
Yeah.
It was like, man, I've seen this dude battle through so much, and just following him in his career and just knowing who he is as a human. So it's just like, man, if you can give your team anything, go out there and give them whatever you can. Obviously, you criticize all that different type of stuff, but like I said, man, I wouldn't change anything about it.
What? Because we are fans and we're stupid. What do fans get wrong about the NBA? Like when they're watching it, or like they're just, it's like that's not how it works. Or I think it's from my perspective, it's that I don't think I think the average fan doesn't realize how incredible you guys all are at basketball, even like the last guy on the bench.
Yeah, it's that, and I don't think they understand how hard it is to win.
Okay. What do you mean?
It is not an easy place. Like, every night is like, I don't care who it is you playing, like, let alone win a championship.
Right.
But to go out every night and win games and play at a high level, like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I say that because I come from a perspective of, like, I've been on bad teams, and I've been on teams where it's not fun. Like, and you go into the arena knowing that you're outmanned, outmatched, and, like, you know, if you win, like, it's like the biggest relief ever. You know what I mean? Because I've never grown up in my career losing games until I got into the NBA.
Right.
You know what I mean? And was in rebuilding situations. So it's like appreciating winning, like, at a high level, like, it's not easy to do.
Wait, so in the NBA, when you've been on bad teams, do you guys still in the NBA do the thing that, like, you do when you're growing up playing team sports and you look across to the other team and you're like, oh, we're fucked?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, you don't do that. You don't do that, but it's like
you count it. You're like, all right, they got that guy, that guy, that guy, and we got, oh shit.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. Like, at least me personally, like, you compete, you're a competitor.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so, like, I don't really do that. But, like, I've been on teams where it's like, all right, man, like, we didn't win a game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, we got to figure out how to win a game.
Yeah.
Like, type thing. Yeah.
And you know, when you were growing up, that every team you played did that for you. They were like, oh, we're fucked. Yes, I can guarantee we could go, like, get kids from Texas that were in that same area at that time and be like, yeah, what was it like playing Julius Randle? It's like, yeah, we showed up and we were fucked.
You guys landed on a private jet.
They just saw you. They just looked at you and were like, shit.
My mom's got
not tonight.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I guess I remember
you could feel it. I'm sure you could.
For sure.
Is there a like, if you're in the middle of a losing streak, if you're on a team that's not going to compete for anything at the end of the season, it's a long season and it gets dragged out. Is there a difference between, like, how to be a good teammate on a shitty team versus how to be a bad teammate on a shitty team? Like, can you pull together towards anything if you're on a team that's that bad?
Yeah, I think it's, like, all about environment, like, and like coaching, like, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you can lose games, but are you learning anything? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, my biggest thing is, like now it's like I'm either winning or I'm learning. You know, I'm never, like, losing anything. Like, if we lose a game, I'm learning something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If we're winning, I'm probably learning something. But it's like I'm winning or learning. So it's like I've been on bad teams where we were losing and we weren't learning shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I've been on teams where we were losing and we were learning, and then eventually we got better. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And, like, that team, like, specifically, I remember the team when I was with the Lakers, like, the last year, where it was like me, Lonzo, B.I., like, Kuz. Like, we weren't a great team, like, to start with, but we started winning games because, like, we just had a good environment, good coaching. You know what I mean? Every day we were coming in, we were learning something.
Yeah.
And eventually we started to win games and learn how to win games.
And now you're on a really good team.
Yeah.
I'm on a great team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really good team. Who, when you first got into the league, who was the one guy that you were like, oh, man, he's way harder to defend than I ever imagined, or, like, crafty or strength or?
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah.
Not a crazy vertical for LaMarcus Aldridge, but he was.
But he knew how to get a bucket, man.
Yeah.
And it was, like, very simple. But he knew how to, like, get buckets. He knew how to draw fouls. Like, he was and he was, like, he was at the time, like, when I came into the league, where it was like the big men were, like, it was, like, real, still, like, big man. Like,
yeah.
It was, like, still too true, like your power forward could be 7 foot. You know what I mean? So it was, like, it was still like that. And, like, you had, like, 3 out, 2 in, like, type thing. So it was, like, he would get the ball on, what was it, that right block maybe or whatever it was, and he would go to work.
Yeah, yeah, very good.
I've always heard also Steven Adams is a crazy guy to go up against.
Strong as hell.
Because he's, like, the strongest. He'll just to knock your ass over.
Yeah, he was different too.
Yeah.
What about the first time you saw Wemby?
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
It was like the guard. He didn't even look real.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to interview him, but I want to see what.
I want to see him walking by.
Yeah.
He was different. He was different. Yeah.
He creates all sorts of like math problems that you've never had to figure out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's nuts.
Definitely. Yeah. He was he's.
All right. This has been so much fun, Julius. We really appreciate you coming by. I had one last question for you. It's the Roback question. RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-Zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com, promo code TAKE. We mentioned earlier the Tibbs practices. What's the craziest drill or practice that Tibbs would make you guys do? I'm fascinated by this stuff. We had Joe Keem in here, and he told us what was it? Kirk Heinrich, he said, used to sit in his car before the game, before the practices, and just be like, God damn it, I don't want to do this. Or is Mike Dunleavy maybe?
We got this drill called 100 passes.
Oh, okay, that sounds like a lot.
And imagine like running a play and passing the ball around like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And then don't shoot. And start the play over again and pass it another 10 times around, drive, pass, and keep doing it until you get to 100 passes.
So that he created edging for basketball.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's terrible.
And then you would shoot at the end. After you get to 100 pass, you shoot or whatever it is.
You can finally shoot?
Yeah, you finally shoot.
After the drill.
Damn.
Just touch the ball 100 times and then shoot.
Yeah,
we got that. So.
Would you? And when you shot, after you shot, would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do a different play or something.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that was one of those drills where you get like one of the younger players. You like, hey man, get in for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a breather.
Yeah, you go run around.
He's doing the 100 pass thing again.
You can see it coming.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I did have one other question. Wait, PFT, you had the last question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask about like some of the work that you do
Yeah.
in the community, because it's pretty cool stuff that you're up to, and I feel like a lot of people would like to hear about it.
Yeah, man. I think it's really no matter where I've been. I think like for me, just the work that my wife and I do is very important. We both come from single parent families and just underprivileged kids, so we're always been about like helping the youth out, helping single moms out, just because we've seen our moms do it and struggle to provide us with everything. So we always are trying to figure out a way to give back, and doing the same thing here in Minnesota. I'm going to be working with some kids here. Skechers is helping out, so it's like whenever I like partner with people or like brands or whatever it is, I always try to bring them in. But it's super important for us.
That's awesome. And you got a court named after you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Where's the court?
That was in New York. That's in New York. I worked with Knicks legend Earl Monroe.
Yeah.
And basically had this thing where it's like the amount of threes I made is what we donated. Like had a bunch of people come in and like pledge a certain amount of money for every three I made. So like I think this past year we donated like 1.3 million to the Earl Monroe School.
That's awesome.
Which helps like kids, and they're doing like Earl, Dan, like those guys are doing an amazing job. Like they took these kids from the Bronx, and these kids' reading levels were like 3 or 4 grades behind, and like took these kids, put them in with like these great teachers. Their first graduating class is coming up, and their test scores are amazing now. So
that's
awesome. Like it's way bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
Like for me, like being a part of New York and that community, like it was big, and I'm still helping those guys out just because they're just incredible what they're doing over there.
Where'd you live when you were in New York? We used to live in New York as well.
I was in Scarsdale.
Okay.
For my first couple of years, because we practiced outside of the city, and then I was in Manhattan. My last 2, I was in the Upper West Side.
Our old office was right across from Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah.
It's that area. It's good.
Not sometimes.
Sometimes.
During COVID,
on what time
there was a couple times where I came to the office and there was like a guy jerking off in front of me on the street.
I say Minnesota is a lot more convenient.
Yeah, you get in a car. That's the thing. I do miss parts of New York, and it is nice not having to get in a car. But then when you do get in a car, it's like, oh, this is kind of nice. Just put on like music or podcast and just drive.
It's gotta be nice getting out to the Midwest though.
Yeah, I love it.
Stretching legs a little bit.
All right, well, Julius, thanks so much, man. Anytime you're in the city, we'd love to have you back on. This was so much fun.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.